The next order of business is approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes as written? Or are there any changes or additions?
Move approval.
Vice Mayor LaMarche,
Yes?
you missed the
Oh, I'm
approval of the
sorry.
agenda.
Approval of agenda, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, approval of agenda. I know that there may be a change in the agenda. And Mr. Smoke?
Yes, ma'am. Staff would ask that we delete item 6C under business items, approval of contract with Civic Plus for website development services. We're still working on that contract, and it's not ready yet for the board's consideration. So we're going to push that off, if you don't mind deleting that off the agenda. And that's the only change that I have.
I hear a motion of the approval of the agenda with that change.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The mayor's report. Our mayor is currently on a cruise, but he was very saddened by the death of David Rogers, and he has written an email for us, and I believe it's appropriate for us to read that tonight. Our deepest sympathy and regrets that we cannot be there. David was a good friend, a great tradition when it came to our efforts to incorporate, and he kept me on the straight and narrow when I strayed. If not for David Rogers, there would be no town of Farragut today. His passing is a great loss for us personally and for the town of Farragut. He will be remembered for a long time. And that is an email from our Mayor McGill. The other thing I wanted to mention are the details of the funeral arrangements for Dave Rogers. The family will receive friends on Friday evening, October the 29th, from 4 to 7 at the Bearden United Methodist Church on Sutherland Avenue. And then there will be a memorial service at 7:30 p.m. His burial will be on Saturday, October the 30th at 11 a.m. at the Howland Memorial Cemetery on Sutherland Avenue. And that's all I have for the mayor's report. Madam Recorder, do we have anyone here for the Citizens Forum?
No, ma'am.
Okay, moving on. Now the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as written? Do I hear approval?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved as written. The first item of business is approval of the purchase of athletic field lighting equipment for Bob Leonard Park.
Yes, I probably need to introduce this item as well as the next item on the agenda together because they do kind of go together. This may sound a little complicated, so bear with me if I ramble a little bit. It really isn't a difficult thing. The intent of this project is to light the western baseball field at Mayor Bob Leonard Park as well as the volleyball complex nearby. Over the years, as we have added lighting or replaced lighting at Mayor Bob Leonard Park, we've kept a very high specification requirement on all of the fixtures that have gone in there. The result of that, our intent is to eventually have everything on a very compatible system that is controlled and monitored by computer, which we already have infrastructure in place to do that. As of, I think it was last year, we had a contract that included an installation of that infrastructure. So we want to maintain those high standards of lighting. Now, on this contract, what we have discovered in the past is there really is not another vendor for this type of lighting that is able to meet the same standards that we require. We've kept that specification. We like it. They have a 25-year warranty on all of their products. What we have done as we have built this system that we have out there, what has happened is we now have a sole source provider for that equipment. Now TCA code does allow us to purchase from a sole source provider provided that we have checked everything out and we maintain proper documentation. We have definitely done that. On this particular contract, it is understood that if we go ahead and purchase equipment directly from the source as a sole source provider, we will avoid a markup in cost on that equipment that we typically have seen in the past on our other lighting projects. In the past, we have attached the purchase of all of the lighting equipment with the installation. And what happens is, and it's a standard procedure, that the installer, the contractor that has the contract for installation, they'll add another 10% to 20% markup just because of all of the carrying costs that they have, as well as the liability of having all of that equipment in storage until they get it in place. As I said, our wish is to purchase this equipment as a sole source provider, or from a sole source provider, and avoid that markup. So in all this, by separating it out of the installation, we're going to see a savings to the town of probably $20,000 to $25,000. So in your packets was a quote from Musco Lighting to provide all of the equipment that we will need to light both the baseball and the sand volleyball courts. It's a quote for $123,490. Now, before we go further, I probably need to point out here, we obtained this quote from Musco Lighting just before we opened bids on the project. Looking at our low bid, by adding our low bid, which is the next item on the agenda, to their original quote, we came in at just over our $160,000 budget. Sue Stool contacted Musco and told them we were about $3,200 higher than our budget, and they agreed to reduce their quote to $123,490 in order to allow us to light both fields and still remain under our $160,000 budget. So the quote that you have here is their second quote. It's $123,490, and staff recommends approval.
From the board concerning this?
I had a chance last year to the team that I helped coach. We played on this field, and I will personally vouch for the twisting of the lights and the dark spots that are out there. And it is a safety issue. This field has 13-year-olds playing on it, and they throw the ball pretty hard. And there are some spots out there where it's just a challenge to see. And lighting is important to get maximum utilization of the fields as well. You do want people to play in the evenings, and safety is an important part. So I just wanted to share that from my observation. The other thing is I'm familiar with Musco and some other fields, and they do provide an excellent product. They are kind of the industry standard from what I understand for at least baseball field lighting. They really do a fine job. And I was impressed too with I had a question about the energy efficiency and also the 25-year warranty. I was just curious, Darryl, if you could touch a bit more about the energy efficiency aspect of this, of how the computerization of the lights and what these particular lights are relative to what we have now out there.
I don't want to elaborate much because I don't have any figures to throw out in front of you to impress, but these new modern lights are much more energy efficient, and they are compatible with the system we already have in place to allow the fields to be turned off and on at the correct times. We shouldn't have fields lit all night long. So this will definitely be an upgrade to what we have in place now.
Other comments?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I noticed in this, in the photographs we have up, it looks like there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 fixtures on that pole, and there are 10 poles, so that would be 110 luminaries, and we're getting 42. Are these just a much more powerful light where it takes half as many of them, or how does
It's
that
my
work?
understanding that this will actually provide a much better, more consistent lighting over the field than what we have now. You're kind of comparing apples and oranges.
The
to-
same number of poles,
I'm not sure how many poles are included in this.
10 in the quote.
10 in the quote. That's all that's required out there for what we need.
So is that what we have
I'm not
now?
sure. I'm not sure what we have right now.